Like last time we did, I think it was at the ranking ceremony. Uh, Professor Gray had said he made mention of it that you had a pretty cool story about how you came into jiu-jitsu and how that all came about. Like I'm I don't know. I hear stuff like that. I'm always like curious.
You're interested, yeah.
I'm either curious or maybe what is it, FOMO? Maybe I just need to know. But ever since you mentioned that, I was kind of curious as to how you got there. How long have you been? So how long have you been training?
So it's been 5.5 years now.
Okay.
Yeah, I loved it. I love it still.
Yeah.
But at the time, like, it was really something I needed. So to figure out like why I joined, just to kind of like add some context to it, like.
So you've been with Casey in 360 since the beginning, right? Like,
yeah.
That was the first place.
Yeah. At the time, it was Machado, and it was just like a minute away from my mom's house.
Okay.
And so luckily, it was easy to get to. And I'd always passed it and thought about joining because I was big into MMA and stuff like that. But
So how old are you now?
28.
28. Okay, so you're 22.
Yeah, I think I was 22 at the time.
Okay.
Yeah, but like at the time I was working at I was assistant manager at a movie theater, and like I was big into doing music and stuff like that. Like I got a audio engineering degree or a certificate at a community college, and so I was like doing music and stuff like that, and I'd done a few shows, and the shows went pretty good, and like people.
So you like mixing music and DJing and that kind of thing?
So I'd make beats and then I'd rap too.
Okay. You're a rapper and freestyle something?
No, definitely not. But like I was pretty into that. Like I would work constantly on music, just like making beats and
because you do some of the stuff that they play at the gym, right? Some of that's
some of the beats.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah, like little lo-fi beats and stuff like that. But yeah, I used to be big into rapping too.
Okay.
So I've done some shows, and I had a buddy that
you say did you get up and rap on the mic in
rapped.
front of a bunch of people? For real?
Yeah. I love it.
I did not know that. That's crazy.
Really?
Yeah, no, I didn't know you. I knew you mixed stuff, but I didn't know you had gotten up and like.
Yeah.
That's a brave move, man.
I was into it though, but to muster up the courage to do it took a long time.
Yeah.
But luckily, I had been practicing for so long. By the time I got on stage, like I was pretty secure with what I was doing.
Okay.
And so they actually went pretty well.
Cool.
And then the last one I did before, like joining jiu-jitsu and everything, I kind of got screwed over at the venue with money and stuff, which you hear about all the time.
Yeah.
So I got a little bit burned. But I had a buddy that he was a major part in like kind of letting me know what was good and what was bad with my music, and we were just like really, really good friends. Like you only meet a few of these kind of friends in your whole life. Like just the way we just kind of balanced each other out, respected each other, and like it, in your early 20s, the existential angst starts to set in. Call them up at AM hours, 1, 2 a.m. She's like, hey man, you want to go to IHOP or something? It's like, be right there and we'll figure it out. But he wanted to join this charity called Liberty in North Korea.
Okay.
Which they help people that want to get out of North Korea that are like oppressed. They'll help get them out of there, bring them to America, and just kind of get them started and stuff like that. So it's a pretty cool charity. So he ended up getting accepted for that, and so he went up to California, and they were what he did is he was part of what they call the Heartland Nomads, which they had different nomads, and what they did is they would get in a van and just stop from city to city, just kind of spreading the word, getting support, donations, and just kind of spreading the word.
Yeah.
So, and one of the stops was actually in Texas, so he got to stay with me at my mom's house for one of his stops. But after his last stop, he was going to go back to California, back to the HQ, and then he was off the hook and he's gonna come back. And I had kind of been in a little bit of limbo, like just waiting for him to come back, because like I said, like he was pretty essential in like making music and just balancing me out.
Yeah.
And I mean, of course, I have other really good friends, but he was pretty involved with like music and stuff like that, and like video. So after his last stop, he was gonna go on the way back to HQ, and I think it was real early in the morning, and they didn't have like hotels to stay at. Like they had to find a place to stay, like no matter where they're at. They were real nomads. So I think that they probably just had little or no sleep, and they ended up there was a car accident.
Wow.
Yeah. And so just from kind of how I was waiting on him to come back, he's almost there. It just really like took everything out from under me.
Yeah, I bet.
It was real rough, and there's like there's a few people that are close to me that knew like how devastating that was to me, because like on the outside it's like, yeah, losing your friends hard no matter what.
Right.
But like my sister took the day off of work just to be with me, and like we went over to Joe Pool Lake, just like walking around nature, and I was just like a zombie.
Man.
And so it was extremely tough to deal with. And then I even tried to do a show afterwards, just to be like, all right, let me try to do this, on my own. And even that show, like I saw my friend's video of it, and you can kind of tell I was
just wasn't in it.
Well, I looked a little unhinged.
Yeah.
I wasn't going crazy or anything, but you just tell like I just wasn't quite right.
Right.
So then I saw Stuart Cooper videos. Have you ever watched those? So Stuart Cooper just basically makes these little like jiu-jitsu mini documentaries. Okay. And they'll have like Joe Rogan or Cyborg, Hickson Gracie, Andre Galvo, and the ones that I would watch were just like montages of guys just talking about like jiu-jitsu philosophy, life philosophy. I thought that was like the coolest thing. And at the time, like I didn't have much of a direction. Like I was getting a little burnt out of music, and just didn't seem like the right path to go, especially like the lifestyle. Like I've been with my she's my wife now, but my girlfriend, like I don't want to travel all over the place. I'm a homebody anyways. So that kind of didn't seem like it was the right thing to do. I didn't want to be an assistant manager at a movie theater for the rest of my life. So
you kind of like you had a plan and a direction you were going, and then all of a sudden it's that's gone, and you're not sure which way to go. Yeah.
So I was kind of I think I told Val, my wife, like I feel like I was just like in a runner stance, like I'm ready to go, because I like to think I have pretty good work ethic, and like I really want to do something. Yeah. But it's like I didn't know what to do. I had no idea what I wanted to do. So after watching the Stuart Cooper videos, I remembered that there's a jiu-jitsu gym literally down the street. So I called up, or no, I sent an email submission or something like that. I got a call from Professor Gray to come up there on a Thursday. And then going up there, it was almost surreal. It was like I was levitating over there. Like it's exactly what I was supposed to do, like needed to do. Yeah. Wow. Like I was a little nervous, but like, there's the nerves where like you kind of just want to stay home. But this was like, I knew exactly.
Like a positive, exciting, nervous. Like,
yeah. And so I got there, and I think Professor, I don't know if he was like going, he had to go out of town for something. And so I was with Coach Griffin at the time. And my partner was Eder, and he's Brazilian, so I thought it was the coolest thing. The first day of jiu-jitsu, the first day of jiu-jitsu to be with a Brazilian. And of course, his first bit of advice to me was first bit of advice everybody gets is just calm down, just breathe a little bit. And so, I told I met Val afterwards, and she could see like how excited I was to do it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And Coach Gray, he didn't have to twist my arm to join anyways.
Yeah.
So, and then after joining, like especially the first few months, like going from where I was at to joining jiu-jitsu, just had literally everything I think I needed. Like everything just kind of balanced out.
Yeah.
Like I didn't have that little existential angst anymore. Like I had something to drive towards, even if it wasn't like a career thing. Like I had something I knew I wanted to be in and involved with.
Kind of like a goal or a direction, or what was it that...
Direction and the community, especially at, it was at Time Machado, but, at 360.
Yeah.
I just knew there was something that I wanted to be involved with and get better at and, be like the guys that were on the Stuart Cooper videos.
Yeah.
So that's how I got started in jiu-jitsu. And then I think it was 6 months in. I've been going very consistently, as much as I could. And I remember if I missed a day of practice till I had something to do, like I would text professor, be like, "Hey, I'm not gonna make it." He's like, like he was like, "No, it's all good, man." But I'm sure he's like, "You don't work here. You don't have to let me know. Like, it's cool." But I wanted to be there as much as possible.
Yeah.
I wanted him to know I wanted to be there as much as possible. And so I think he saw that and he approached me and was like, "How do you like your job right now?" I'm like, at theater? Like, not a whole lot. And so he just let me get on board and help out with kids' classes, and that was in like the after school program, and I was so excited about that. And for a while I worked both, but I was excited that and I remember telling Valis, like, I wasn't going to be the movie guy anymore. I got to be the jiu-jitsu guy.
Yeah.
I was so excited to be jiu-jitsu guy.
Yeah.
And then just from there, like, just got to be involved in more and more things. And, now I get to be an assistant instructor there.
Yeah.
I help out in the office, just be a part of the gym. And I mean, it's been great. Like, I don't think I'd want to do anything else.
Yeah. It shows, man. Like, just like, I see you with the kids and stuff, and like, even Savannah and Kinley, which are my daughters, if you don't know. But I mean, they love you to death, and like, you can just tell, like, you're genuine and authentic and enjoying it, and it shows.
That's cool to hear, man.
Yeah.
Especially hearing like Annie's story from last time.
Yeah.
Like to hear, like we hope to have that effect on people, but to actually to hear it and see it, like, so it's really good to hear that even Savannah and Kinley like it and Amy like it. Like,
oh yeah, it's weird because you like, you kind of know you have that effect, or you don't. And even like, I mean, I can show you too, like some of the stuff that when we did Emmy's video that we cut out, like whenever there was like specific people or names, and I didn't know how people felt about it. If she told a story that mentioned certain people, we took it out. So there was a lot of specific things that she said, kind of about you guys and some of the coaches, and even some of the other, people at the gym that
That's
she
cool.
attributed to. So I just didn't know how everybody felt about being called out,
Well, man, there's so many good people at the gym.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild.
It is. When Coach Katie was here, she left and went off to college. But, she coached the kids' classes, and my daughters, talked to her and they knew her, but I never really thought like there was a, like this, role modelship, or they looked up to her as much as they did. And then she'd been gone about a month, and we play this little game. It's kind of like, did you ever play Dungeons and Dragons? You know the concept?
I always wanted to. Like a little role-playing game?
Yeah, so it's kind of like that. I have one it's for kids, and it's like you pick these characters and go on these little adventures, and it's basically the same thing for kids, but you have to name your characters and stuff. And we put them together, and Kinley put hers together and named it Katie. And like one of her attributes was being an artist, because Katie went off to art school. Like, and I had no idea she even knew that much, but like a month later, and I was like, wow, I didn't realize how much of an effect, a lot of the adults and a lot of the girls that are role models there have on some of the kids.
Yeah.
It's kind of neat to see. So what do you think it was about like about jiu-jitsu specifically that sort of gave you that sense of direction? Like, could it have been something else? I guess maybe so to word it, like, was it like you were in a place where you were missing something, and then you happened to find this, and it fit, or could that have been something else?
I think it was a bit of both, because like I needed something kind of structured to work towards.
Mm-hmm.
I needed like the that atmosphere, like being around people, positive people that are trying to get better at something, that are helping you, and like they become friends and like almost like your family. Like I knew I needed that, but just all the just the tons of benefits, and you're in it.
Yeah.
The benefits that just like you had no idea were gonna be happening to you.
Yeah.
Like just obviously the physical benefits, doing something active, getting better at something, but just the way I think there's a lot of factors that contribute to I don't know, like making you just like a more healthy human being. I think it's like the old, not the old, but the saying that like human beings are kind of meant to be like in tribes.
Yeah.
Like you're not supposed to know like thousands of people. You're supposed to, like we're kind of wired to be around like 30 to 100 people, and I feel like that it kind of feeds into that. Like you get to see the same people every day. That's why I feel lucky to work there, going from customer service to where I'd see just like tons of people.
Yeah.
Don't care about you. I don't really care about them. And then you get to go to jiu-jitsu, and eventually everybody there. They're happy to see you. You're happy to see them. You get to roll, make each other better. I think that's a huge part of it. And for me, going up there for the first few weeks, and for whatever reason, being 100% physically useless, despite your best efforts against somebody, like is an amazing experience that kind of like
humbling.
Resets the clock.
Yeah.
It's like, because I'm pretty competitive in a lot of things, but jiu-jitsu just like balanced me out. Like I wasn't really competitive when I would roll, and then I think just the act of tapping out and just getting destroyed is so important in the beginning.
Yeah.
Like especially if you're struggling with other things in life, like you feel like you feel pressure.
Yeah. In
life from all kinds of things.
Yeah.
Your home life or expectations, or like the hustle culture. You always got to be doing something. You always got to be doing more. You guys got to be doing more. These people are doing all this. You're reading. If you're reading like self-help books, you got a big old checklist of things you're supposed to be doing. Then you feel pressure physically at jiu-jitsu, and there's not, without getting hurt, like there's not a worse feeling, but just the feeling of somebody just like you can't get out.
Yeah.
Like, and you get to tap out, and I think there's not a lot of other competitive things where you have to say, you got me, I lost, quit. You win, and I think that is huge.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is. It's the voluntary submission of, it's not a score. The time didn't run out. Like you have to say no. I quit. I give up. Yeah, that's an interesting point. I hadn't really, I do a lot with like psychology and stuff, and I recently, like everybody knows, and there's 1,000 studies on it, but I think everybody pretty much commonly accepts, like depression, anxiety, a lot of different things. Exercise helps, and it's been something you prescribe for years as a clinician of like, oh, you need to get on the program, do this and do that. Yeah. But I have recently started doing a lot more research and reading into getting into just articles and things about jiu-jitsu specifically, like not just go out and join a softball team or go run or like, and I'm coming to the conclusion that like there's something about jiu-jitsu specifically that I think helps a lot more. You ever listen to Jordan Peterson?
Yeah.
Do you ever listen to him?
Yeah.
Like, he had a conversation, and I don't know, one of the many things I listened to that he did, but it was talking about, you know, the kind of the hierarchies.
Mm-hmm.
And having positive hierarchies in society, and how we're kind of, you mentioned a minute ago, being wired, like from an evolutionary standpoint, like we're wired to have hierarchies. Like society racks and stacks based on any number of things, you know, and jiu-jitsu definitely does that, you know, and I think that's a positive thing to, like you said, walk in the first day and be here. Like, and it's really like, it doesn't matter how athletic you are and strong and big, like it's one of those things that's you walk in the first day and you're not gonna go in there and get like you and be like, well, my athleticism, I killed everybody.
No.
Like, you're gonna get humbled, you know, and I think that's a good thing for humans to go through, to feel, I am here, I have to work hard and get here, and here, and here, and kind of, you know, work yourself up, you know.
You learn how to deal with physical pressure. You learn how to work with it. Like, you either, like, it's, you're getting mounted and all this. Like, you learn, like, this is you either learn how to accept it and learn from it, or you learn how to counter it. Yeah. Which I think is a good. I think it transfers over pretty easily to things that you're dealing with mentally or whatever. You learn when there's pressure, stay calm, and like, you're gonna have some times where you get dominated. That's okay. You come back the next day, you learn how to deal with it a little better. You come back the next day, you learn how to deal with it a little better. Eventually, you're not getting mounted as much anymore. And then JT Torres comes in.
And then you do.
and then you get mounted again. And then the clock resets. And he came in last Friday, and like, I was back to being useless despite my best efforts. And it's like, feeling that again, like, it reminded me of those early days, and like, it's great. I think you always need that. Yeah. No matter how good you get at jiu-jitsu, and like, you always need those days where you just come in and like, nothing works for you.
I think it's kind of a to me anyways, this is just my opinion, this isn't any research based anything, but it's kind of a primitive metaphor for, you know, the stress in life and all the psychological, mental stuff. You know, you talk about society being busy and this hustle and bustle, and I gotta rank and stack myself against everyone else, and like, that's a pretty complex thing psychologically for most people to deal with. You know, or you know, when you get in situations, you know, you get in phases of life where you are going through like depression or grief or just stress. You know, sometimes it's hard for people to really kind of be like, okay, let me identify this and figure out what's going on. I think you can go like something like jiu-jitsu, where you are, it is like that physical representation of just like the primitive, like, it's, I'm in a situation that's stressful, I'm claustrophobic, this guy smashed me, I can't, and you can freak out and you can panic and you can, it's not gonna get you out. You know, you have to get to a point and you have to learn that, like, okay, the best thing I can do is sort of relax, breathe, accept this situation that's going on right here, and get myself out of it slowly and calmly. Yeah. And I think that, you know, I think it goes back way back in human evolution to, you know, back to the cavemen. Like, they weren't as mentally and psychologically stable as us today, I guess. You know, and it was more of a, like, there's just an instinctual, like, physical, you know, warrior, I think, in people. We're built to survive. We're built to overcome. You know, you're built to face struggles and survive. You know, in our society today, we think we have it tough and everyone has something to complain about, but for the most part, we
got it pretty good.
We're not exactly surviving, you know.
There's been a lot of people before us that went through a lot of really bad stuff to get here.
Not even that long ago. Like, you know, it's weird if you look at how long history is, recorded history even. Like, it was less than 100 years ago that, like, people were, like, dying on the plains trying to get across Texas, you know, to go west. Like, those people were overcoming some stuff. You know, I bet they weren't arguing over, you know, all this political correct nonsense, you know, back then. So,
you'll create problems.
Sure. So that's a overly complicated way, I guess, of saying, just like, I think it taps into sort of a primitive, primal thing that we have in us, you know, and then lets you express that in a controlled, violent, non-violent way.
And it's like it's, kids play all the time. Like, they wrestle all the time. Like, if you'll see, like, if we just leave kids on their own on the other side of the mat, eventually someone's getting tackled, and they're not aggressively, but they're playing. They're getting, then at some point, it's like that becomes socially unacceptable. Yeah. You can't just like jump on somebody's back at the mall.
Well, we killed it even in schools today. Like, you're not allowed to do any of that. And like, I think I remember even getting I think the school sent an email or something home. The dodgeball was going to be.
Oh, Lord.
Like, we can't play dodgeball anymore. Like, oh, it hurts, and you might get picked last, and it makes people feel like, man, like.
Yeah.
So I think that does kind of put that back into society.
It's just fun.
Yeah.
It's just fun to do jiu-jitsu. It's fun to wrestle. Like.
Yep.
And I think that's important to have too. It's something you enjoy doing.
It's interesting that, like, I think when people get in ruts, like kind of like what you talked about a while ago, like, it's important to get out of those things is to accomplish something. Like, you need to win sometimes, and people need that. And I think jiu-jitsu gives you that, in that, like, man, there are so many small victories in just the fact that, like, man, I learned this one submission, or I beat somebody that's been killing me forever, even if it's just once, or learning how to defend yourself against something, or, man, just getting your cardio up where you can go the whole 5-minute round and not have to take a break.
Yeah. Or just having those people that, that are beating you consistently, but like, I want to get that guy one day. Like, having a direction, like, that'll get you up and doing stuff that's gonna, compound. Like, I need to eat a little bit healthier. That's gonna make you feel better. I need to, stop staying up so late. If you're drinking, like, if you drink, you're gonna feel it on the mats.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So it'll get your habits right. I think having just like the kids look up to coaches. Like, I looked up to, and I still do, like Professor Gray, and like all these people at the gym, like, ranked above or below me. Like, all those people are doing the right thing and being in an environment where everybody's, going for something like that. I think that's very beneficial.
Yeah, I do too. It's weird, like, I've talked to Professor Gray a million times and hung out with him, and like, and he even says, like, hey, like, if you want to roll or something, like, he tells everybody, like, hey, grab one of us, like, it's not that kind of like, don't talk to your superiors thing, but it's weird. Like, I still, like, if he's just sitting there, like, I still feel like, he's, it's like, this guy's like, oh yeah, but I know he's probably not, but it's still, I don't know, man, there's some sort of hierarchy,
Yeah. But, and then, I mean, even still, like, as a coach, I guess, like, sometimes I wonder if, like, does this person want to roll with me? Like, so it's hierarchical. Like, I think that definitely has something to do with it, because I remember being real nervous to ask, like, Vu or Professor Gray or, anybody ranked above. But, like, even still, like, just locking eyes with somebody, be like, do you want to do this? Like,
you want to... Yeah, you feel like, is this person like, oh, this guy again? Like, I guess, I feel like I have to.
Am I a jerk?
Yeah, it can definitely be awkward.
But it's good to overcome that. Like, especially if you have social anxiety, like, getting in and rolling with somebody is probably as close as you can get with somebody, and like.
Yeah, it is. It can be intimate at times.
Yeah. So, and being like. I was pretty uncomfortable talking to people.
Really?
Yeah, like, there was times.
So you got on stage and rapped in front of a whole crowd, but you were uncomfortable, like, talking to people.
Yeah.
Huh? Wow.
You'll see that with a lot of, like...
you just introverted, or do you get shy?
I was introverted, and I was always shy. Very shy.
But you just let it out on stage, like...
This is different. That's a crowd. Like, that's a...
Yeah.
That's
I can see that.
A wall, and I'm not being... necessarily genuine me. I'm putting on a show. I get to do that. Something I've rehearsed for years. Mm-hmm. Like, that's a little. It was different than talking to a cashier at Target. Like, and feeling like, ooh. But jiu-jitsu helps with that a ton. You have to interact. Yeah. You have to roll. You have to shake hands. Like, hey man, that's pretty cool. No. You see the same people every day. Hey, how's it going? It's like, hey, I'm getting better at this. Grocery store ain't so scary no more. Yeah. And then being able to be in the office and, like, talk to new people all the time. that's been hugely beneficial too. Like I'm pretty comfortable talking to almost anybody now because, you know, someone walked through the door, never seen him before. I can talk to him about jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
I can do that.
Yeah.
So just another benefit, man.
Yeah. Yeah, man, the group atmosphere I think is huge. Emmy and I talked about that, you know, just the support of all the people around you and stuff. Was that something you felt like was pretty integral to you finding it and connecting and because you seem to have found it like when you were in a pretty rough place in life, a rough phase anyways.
Yeah.
You know, how much of it was kind of like getting that direction and goal versus you know, like the people that you found, because you found, I mean, you found specifically, and you've been with the same gym the whole time. You know, how much of it was the people at that gym versus, you know, if you had been somewhere else?
We're pretty lucky at 360 because I don't know, we're just very, very inclusive.
Yeah.
Like you want to compete, you want to just do it as a hobby, you know, whatever. So that atmosphere I feel like was there when I got there too. So just the inclusiveness. And I remember telling Val, like, the first week, kind of jokingly, I was like, I'm real quiet right now, but like one day I'm gonna be the heart of that place. Like, not that I'm the heart now, but I'm pretty ingrained.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And so it was just always a good environment. And like as far as what you need, I think it kind of fluctuates with what you're dealing with. You know, sometimes you really do need just people to hang out and talk to at the gym.
Sure.
Sometimes you don't need to go in there and get after it and train hard. Like sometimes that's not the vibe that you're going with. Sometimes like you do need to you need to just push yourself. Like if you're having yourself a little pity party, you need to go in there, get after it, you know, go challenge yourself, go overcome some things. So I think what you need at jiu-jitsu and what you're dealing with, it just kind of fluctuates.
Yeah.
And there's something there. There's something at jiu-jitsu that can solve a lot of what you're dealing with. I don't know about everything, but a lot of what you're dealing with. You just need to talk to somebody.
Yeah.
You know?
I've had some conversations about this, you know, with some of my colleagues and things, and it's so I definitely don't tell anybody that like jiu-jitsu's the cure for, you know, what's ailing you. Like I don't, but man, I think it's an integral tool, man. It's like you just put it pretty well. I think the way I haven't been able to sort of articulate it, in that a lot of things that you need, you can find within this particular art and this particular, you know, sport. Like you know, it's interesting to me that it's very individual and group at the same time. It's because it is, man. It's you and another person, and that's it. And you're the only one that's gonna, you know, win or lose. And it is all very individual, especially if you compete. It's just you walk out there and look, everybody's watching me get, you know, it's pretty nerve-wracking, but it's also very group-oriented. It would be really difficult to succeed or get better without everyone else at the gym. Like, you know, so it's a team / individual sport, unlike really any other I can think of. You know.
Yeah.
That you can kind of belong to the group team, but you can also individually. And you know, I mean, think about how different everybody is. You know, like when you roll with one person versus another, you kind of go in and be like, all right, this is the guy that's like, okay, I gotta watch this or I gotta watch that. You know, that's his move, so I gotta, you know, it does provide a lot of different things. You know.
I think it's cool how everybody has a different game too.
Yeah.
It's like I'm big into video games. It's like every person's like a different level to deal with, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
It's a lot of fun, man.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's you sort of get a different mentality depending on, you know, which end of the mat you go to. I think it's pretty cool. Like we were talking a second ago about, you know, you have all these goals and that, like, you know, you mentioned like picking kind of a target, like this person, I want to beat this person. You know, so you have these long-term goals or making the next belt or, you know, even super long-term and say, hey, I want to be a black belt someday. Like, you've got these very long-term goals to work towards, but you have so many almost daily just small goals that you can sort of start checking off, you know, and it builds that confidence of, you know, maybe just, man, I just want to be able to roll the whole 5 minutes. Yeah. Man, I'd like to learn this move or I'd like to escape this or whatever it is.
I think that's most of what like those little victories, like you said, because like if you're focused like what you're saying, like I need to beat this person, like if you go too far into that, it'll really poison your well. Like it'll really make things sour for you if all you're focused on is like I gotta beat this guy. Like it'll then you're focused pretty much on what you're doing wrong the whole time. And I think I think it's good to correct things that you're doing, but to focus solely on what you're doing wrong or comparing yourself to people or creating an enemy at the gym.
The comparison.
Yeah. I don't think that's a great way to do it. I think, like you said, just little victories, like just being able to last through a whole round, like stuff like that is huge.
Yeah, there's that saying I really like, something like don't compare yourself to who someone else is today. Compare yourself to who you were yesterday.
Yeah.
And that's really I love that saying.
Mm-hmm.
So if you could go back, like what would you, going back what you know now, would you have done anything differently, like in your journey from when you first walked into the gym to now?
No, I don't think so.
No.
I think I heard that on the podcast with Emmy, like about how you said you found it when you were supposed to find it. Like same thing for me. Like if I'd have found this when I was like Gray's age, like if I was a teenager or something, like it probably wouldn't. It would just be a sport to do. I might stay in it, I might not stay in it. And like whereas just a medium to try to get good at something, like succeed at something. It's not just something to succeed at for me at this point. Like this was something that I was feeling pretty bad. Like my life wasn't in shambles. I didn't have like horrible habits.
Right.
Like I wasn't like, but I was feeling real bad and like real anxious. Like I said, pretty socially awkward, stuff like that. And then just feeling the difference after just like the first day or the first week, feeling a huge difference. Like I carry that with me still. Like it still balances me out. Like if there's been a few days without it, like you say, it's like everything starts to tense in again. Like you go there, you roll, you talk to people, your shoulders get low again. It's like it just balances you back out.
There's a ton of stress relief benefits to doing something like that. Just like just burning off cortisol.
Yeah.
Stress hormones and just getting that out of your system. That's a pretty big deal. It's I read a study. I forget who it was. It's from the University of Wisconsin. I can't remember who the doctor was, but it was basically they did a study in that kind of. So exercise definitely helps, lower all these chemicals and stuff in your body that produce stress. They did a measurement to where you just go out and do what you want. Like, what do you like to do? You like to jump rope? Go jump rope.
Yeah.
If you like to run? Go run. And then they took a group where they prescribe, like, you do this, do that, where it was, you have to do this, and you do what we say, and then keep doing it. So anyway, the ones that had sort of a prescribed thing where it was like doing what a coach told them to do, and had to sort of use their brains to, I think it has to do, they didn't really say why in the study. I think it has more to do with like having to change your pattern of thinking. If I'm just doing something I always do and always want to do, and if I just go run, for instance, like that's pretty automatic.
Yeah.
I can just sort of zone out, but my brain can still stay focused on everything that stresses me out, everything that's making me feel bad. Whereas if I say, okay, we're going to do this, you have to stop, you have to listen to me, you have to focus on me, then you have to think about doing this complex movement that you're not used to doing. Mm-hmm. And it sort of, it changes the pathways in your brain that you're sending messages. You're basically using going to the same location. If you and I went to Dallas, we could take different highways and still get to the same place. It's kind of that same concept that we're taking different routes to get there.
Yeah.
So you're, it helps in that regard to, you're learning something new, I guess is a good way to put it.
Yeah, you gotta be pretty present for that too.
Yeah, and you have to focus on this. If you're sitting over there zoned out, like and I've done it in class before when you're like, okay, break. And you're like, My go-to is I'm like, all right, you go first. Like, you know,
I've done it as a dummy. Like I've had to move work on me, and I'm just like, and then it's time to teach the kids. I'm like,
what did we do?
what is it? What
Yeah, we're watching. Okay, yeah. Let me just tie my shoe here while I watch for a second.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's very cool. So you know, another thing I think that's really cool too is and I talked to, you know, one of my daughters is she gets like anxiety about everything. Man, she's just nervous about the world.
Really?
And yeah.
Wow. How old is she?
7.
7.
So she's about to be 8. Yeah.
Man.
But she just like, you know, but she competed in one of those tournaments.
Oh
and
yeah,
she did
right.
it. Like,
yeah.
She hasn't since, and she keeps saying I want to, but you know she's nervous, or you know, and she's a little string bean, so she gets smashed a lot, and you know she's nervous about getting hurt and losing in front of people and all these different things, you know. But it was really cool to see her go through that. Like she said, okay, I'm gonna do it, and man, she was terrified. She even came to tears, you know, but she sucked it up and walked out there, you know, and we did a lot of work to get to that point and figure out how to deal with it. You know, we had we did a lot of things to get there, but man, just the, you know, there's something in like, you know, competing that you don't like, unless you've had to make that walk out there, like you don't get, it's kind of like, tell me about being a parent. You're like, you don't know.
Yeah,
you
know.
Don't get it.
It's
like,
drive you crazier than anything else that you wouldn't want it any other way.
Yeah. So it's, man, what a, man, for anybody, I think that's such a beneficial thing to have to go through.
The competition specifically?
Yeah, you know, just, or even, you know, it doesn't even have to be like at some big tournament or anything. Even if you're, even just the simulation ones that you guys do in class, super fights at the end of training, you know, where you're like, okay, you stand up, walk out here by yourself, and then someone's going to try to harm you, and we're all going to watch it.
Adrenaline's pumping, No
one's going to help you, and everyone's going to watch you, and we're going to see if you win or lose.
Yeah.
Like, that's a pretty valuable thing to learn how to deal with.
Mm-hmm. And that's cool that she's learning these things as young as she is. Like, that's lessons for life.
Yeah.
You know, that's really cool that, you know, you're pushing her to do that and everything.
Yeah.
That's a huge part. Like, so much of it is like what the kids doing on their own, and like the parents, like bringing their kids every day and like sticking around. Like, that's so important that like they're there and they're pushing their kids. They're just bringing them.
Yeah, so much time sitting just watching, like sitting just watching them. You know, I see parents up there just sitting in class. You know, wasting. I don't know, but
watching my kid get
but hour and a half, you know, plus the drive up there and fitting that into, you've already been at work all day, or you know, so
I think it's amazing that like people will spend that much time there. It's like there really is something special about it. That many people come up there like day in and day out and do that, or just watch their kids. And luckily, you know, like I said, everybody up there is pretty cool. So the parents get along with each other. We get along with the parents. You know, the parents recognize other kids. You know, it's a cool environment. Yeah, I like how it kind of teaches. Like I see, you know, we talked about hierarchies and stuff a minute ago, and we lose this in our society nowadays. You know, I don't know if it's a breakdown of the family system and single parent families. You know, there's all kinds of theories about it, but we tend to view sort of having authority and power over everybody like as the goal. Like, I need to be the top, you know, and I think something like this teaches you how to have power, how to be higher in the hierarchies and wield it responsibly. You know, you can be top of the class, but you don't have to win every time. You don't have to always, you know, you don't have to prove it. You don't have to show it. You don't have to be the alpha all the time. Yeah. You know, so I think there's a valuable lesson in that. And I don't think it's good if you get to a point where you win all the time, like in jiu-jitsu. Like, I don't think that's necessarily a good thing, because then it'll become something that you're safeguarding. Yeah. And you'll lose. You won't take any more chances, and you'll just like stop. Like, it's been 2 months since I got tapped. Like, and I've heard stories about, you know, people that have gone a long time without being tapped or anything like that, and it happens, and it's not
Can't
pretty.
deal with it.
Things people snap.
Yeah.
And like to turn something like jiu-jitsu with all these benefits into something that's like becomes like I just don't want to lose. Like that is you're missing out on so much, and I've
fighting not to lose instead of fighting to win.
Yeah. Or just being in present in the role, and like get tapped, man.
Yeah.
Everybody needs to get tapped.
Try something new.
Yeah, try something new. Have some fun.
Yeah, definitely. So what do you think is one of the like as a coach, what's one of the biggest things you hope to pass on to all the kids? What do you hope they get out of it?
I feel like every kid needs something different. Like you can tell when they walk in. I'm pretty good at reading, especially after doing it for a while. Sorry. Getting 8. I get all my emails once at one time. But I'm pretty good at I like to think I'm pretty good at reading people, but kids too, and like kids are a little easy to read.
Mm-hmm.
Have less of a filter. So, some kids like they need some structure. They need some discipline. Some kids lack confidence, and they need those like, hey, way to go, you did it. But I mean, I feel like there's a sweet spot for everybody that you eventually get to where you're just kind of balanced out, and jiu-jitsu is just like not a side part of that, but it's the vehicle.
Yeah, it's a good word for it, vehicle.
It's the vehicle where you can experience all these things. But I don't know specifically if there's one thing that I would like all the kids to take, but just whatever the kids need, I'd like to build them to where that is,
Yeah.
And I don't know, just it's a real wholesome, like it's a wholesome feeling, like just making kids laugh, like there's just a little moments in between teaching class, like just making sure they're having a good time. Cause I just like to have fun, and being a kid, I remember I just wanted to have fun.
Sure.
And being in a good environment with positive role models, and like I said, just like little moments, like making them laugh and stuff like that. Like that's huge. So I just just being there on its own, I think, is really beneficial to them, and having a place like that where they can grow up. Like it takes a village to raise a child, right? Yeah. Everybody in there is contributing in one way or another. Yeah. So.
Yeah, you mentioned a while ago, kind of people being designed to be tribal, and I know some people probably disagree with that, but it's absolutely true. I think like you're not designed to be alone.
I think you can adapt, but I think ideally, if you want to operate,
sure, the best. Even like the old Psychology 101 thing you learn, Maslow's little triangle. Like one of those things is group acceptance. Mm-hmm. Like that's been a long-standing basic human need. Like to be happy, healthy, and survive, you need to fit into groups. You need other people to accept you. You need other human beings. We're relational. Like human beings are designed to have relationships with each other and help each other. It's unfortunate that society is sort of, we've got into these, individual pockets of. It's a strange phenomenon. It's like everyone's an individual, and you got to strive to be the top. Yeah. Now we have to all be like the same in group and fit into these labels. So it's not individual, but it's almost alone. Maybe is the right word.
And now the tribe is huge. If you log on, your tribe is the world.
It got giant.
To try to figure out or to try to be accepted into the world, you're gonna feel pretty worthless most of the time.
Yes. Yeah.
So, to be impactful in the grand, I guess we'll say internet, and then the whole arc of things, like it's tough, but to be impactful in your circle, is huge.
Yeah, it's in person here in a small circle.
Mm-hmm.
We tend to want to save the world. We look at the government should do this with like all this, like, all the issues we get, immigration. Like, oh, let's fix this, and they should do this, they should do that. When really what if you just did what you could do right here in your community? And what if everybody in their communities did that?
Yeah.
We wouldn't have this big problem. We just think the internet's been good for, communication and bringing us all together, but it's also turned toxic in that, you talk about just the groups and the hierarchies, and the one that if things are going well for you and you get on the internet, somebody else they're going to try to bring you down.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to say something.
It's nature, man.
It is.
Like you leave chimps alone. Chimps are going to start messing with each other.
Sure.
And the anonymity does not help. Like, there's not a lot of repercussions to talk, to leave the comments,
I talk about kind of that primitive behavior and instinct is, like even as recent history as just when I grew up, on the playground is like, if you said most of those things to somebody, you would get punched in the mouth.
Yeah.
And, maybe you did once, and then you learned like, okay, these are the rules. This is etiquette, and this is society's rules. And we've taken that away, and now you can say these terrible things, and there's no repercussions.
Yeah.
And it's except for the person you're saying them to. So you mentioned sort of a minute ago, like discipline and confidence, esteem, overcoming things like all these different things that jiu-jitsu sort of has. Made me kind of think of like jiu-jitsu is kind of a painting. You look at like a painting on the wall. There's a million colors in it, that all kind of come together to make one big thing. Is which ones of those things do you feel like you were missing when you found jiu-jitsu that it gave you?
As far as what I was missing, I think a little bit of all of it, honestly.
Really?
I think it's the case with everybody. I don't think anybody's like, I got this down. Like, I am the most confident. Because even if you're the most confident, that needs to be brought down.
Yeah.
So I think I came in with a bunch of different levels, and it levels everything out. Like, socially, I was kind of awkward. I had bouts of, depression and angst and stuff like that. Like, that gets up here. Anxiety is like, I'm good now. Like, I was real competitive. Not that competitive anymore. So I don't think there's any one thing specifically that I was majorly missing, but just the different levels of where I was at.
You were
like, everything is balanced out.
You were unproportional.
Yeah.
Like they kind of mellowed out and
put
everything where it needed to be.
And it moves. Like, even still, like, I'll and then it's the same thing with everybody. Like, you're a living, breathing thing. Like, sometimes you'll slack on this part, and then I think jiu-jitsu is just a good thing. Like, you might start to get physically unhealthy. Well, you go to jiu-jitsu, you don't feel good when you're unhealthy and you roll. So you need to do this. Like, you're, I don't know, just,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
So go back, college and high school, did you feel like you were more in that awkward stage and stuff through those years too, or even junior high, like back as a kid? Did you grow up that way, or did that develop? Or?
It depended on where I was at, because at high school I actually got along really great, and like with almost everybody. Like, I was on the football team, and like I wasn't like Mr. Popular, but I can get along with popular kids. I have friends from all over the place, and then there'd be one class where I didn't really know anybody. I was super quiet, didn't want to say anything. Like, I wasn't a class clown, but I love to make people laugh, man. But I'd try to put my neck out there, say something funny, and it wouldn't fall through. It's like I never said a word in that class again. And then like I said, like, just any situation where I would feel inferior, I was very quiet. And in college, I was just quiet. I don't know if I was necessarily shy or had like an inferiority complex there or anything, but I was just real quiet for whatever reason. And when I was there for a few years, I didn't really make any. There's people that I still talk to, but like in a very short period of time, I made a lot of like really good friends in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's so weird, man. I've talked to people too. I was in the military for a little while, and it's weird that like you go to boot camp, they put you in the same uniform, cut all your hair off, and like
Yeah.
everybody's the same,
Mm-hmm.
and you're like they do that for a reason. Is man, you take all of the identifying things that we have these stereotypes and biases about. So jiu-jitsu, you show up and you're all wearing a gi or spandex uniform, that you're rolling around in, and so everybody kind of looks the same, and you've got this like it takes so many of you can't tell who's rich and who's poor.
Yeah.
Or who's it puts everybody in the same group, so to speak. Everybody sucks just like me. This whole group of people. It's pretty cool how it kind of erases some of those lines and puts you in that group. So
everybody's got stuff they got to work on in there.
Yeah.
Everybody's got something to get better at.
Yeah.
Like no matter what level you're at.
Mm-hmm. And I've had some really good conversations after practice. Packing my bag up to leave, and you just get into a 10-minute conversation with somebody, or something, and it's always weird. I don't know if it's just like maybe your defenses are broke down because you're exhausted after an hour of this or something, and people will just be like, yeah, let me tell you this terrible thing. It's like, wow, that was really open.
Yeah.
And you've had I've had some really really cool conversations that I don't know would have happened outside of there,
or even at the beginning of class. It's like post jiu-jitsu conversations. Like I agree. Like, some of the best conversations. It's like, I don't know, like either your ego's broken down or you cross that barrier into being kind of reserved. Like I just rolled for 30 minutes. Like my guard is not up anymore.
Yeah.
Like,
Let me tell you this. I shouldn't have said that. Yeah, I mean, it's I think there's a level of trust built too in the people you're with. Mm-hmm. Like I mean, there's other people around. You're not really in a lot of danger, but I mean, you definitely can get hurt.
Yeah.
For sure. I mean, everybody's been hurt, up there at some point on accident. But if somebody wanted to hurt you,
they're in the position.
You could, yeah. So there's a level of all these people in this class. You have you have to go in and have some level of like forced trust. Like, okay, I gotta trust these guys or not do this.
Yeah.
Or girls. So maybe there's some level of breaking down those walls of.
Yeah, that's a good
I've
point.
trusted you the last hour. I guess I can tell you this thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's
Yeah, you had my arm. You didn't break it, so you could probably handle this story I'm going to tell you pretty well without.
Interesting phenomena. Like I said, and I've been doing a lot of reading, a lot of research into this specifically. Like why is jiu-jitsu seem to be so much more of a. I googled what I ran across. It was an article and it was called "Jiu-Jitsu Saved My Life," and I read part of it and then I had to leave, and so I wanted to finish it later. So I just googled that, trying to find the same article again. Jiu-Jitsu saved my life, and it popped up. There was 1,000 articles titled that.
Yeah.
And it was just all these people like, some of them were real articulate and very like. Very intelligent people, and some of them were, like unpunctuated and misspelled. And it's like all levels of people. It's like, I love jiu-jitsu. It's like, wow.
Yeah.
And all different reasons. And I was like, just out of curiosity, I raced jiu-jitsu and I started just typing like CrossFit, different, like all these different things. And, there was obviously, articles of people who had similar, but it wasn't. It was definitely not the same. As many. I even was like, man, is it just? And it was ironic, but I typed in like karate and kickboxing and different martial arts because maybe it's a martial art thing, and then it didn't seem to be. I don't know, maybe it's just jiu-jitsu is more popular, but.
I don't know. There's something about it.
Yeah.
Watching the Stuart Cooper videos, like.
I'm gonna have to check that out.
Those. It's like exactly what you're talking about. Like something about this. Like these people are different, but there's something in common with them. Like they're very content. And
that's true.
Really cool philosophies, and just watching one person after another say these things that just like really resonate, and like just the mentality and the vibe that they put off. It's like I want to be a part of that. Like whatever that is, I want to be a part of that.
Content is a good word. It's interesting you mentioned that because while you were saying that sentence, I was kind of thinking like, yeah, man, everybody just seems to be chill. You know, when they show up, like, you know, hey, what's going on? Like, oh, just kind of like,
Yeah.
about to just try to fight you, you know? Like, it's just like, you know, this weird relaxation amongst people. Mm-hmm. So it's very interesting. Mm-hmm. I'm glad you came and told me this story. Like, you know, like I said, I've been curious, you know.
Yeah.
Coach Gray kind of put out the like this vibe, like, hey, Hayden has an awesome story, but I don't want to tell his business. And you're like, what? Can't do that. Like,
yeah. And like, as far as like, you know, there's the philosophy like everything happens for a reason. It's like, but do I wish my friend was still around? Like, absolutely, 100%.
Yeah.
But you know, when things like that happen, devastating things, like and there's people that knew him that was not the excuse, but that was the thing that made them like just spiral. And you see that a lot. Mm-hmm. Like when things happen to people, like it can either be the thing that is the beginning of something or the start of your spiral, and the excuse for everything. It's like the excuse to not get out of bed, or can it be the excuse to get out of bed? You know, it was. I mean, I'd had a passing interest in MMA jiu-jitsu for a while, but I think that was a major event that happened that got me to, okay, I need to do something.
Yeah.
Like, I need to do this. So, yeah. Well, I mean, while it's a extremely hard thing to deal with, you know, I wouldn't be here without it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, there's you know, getting through stuff like that is you know, I think it's Tony Robbins that says you know, kind of a 3-step thing is like, okay, here's the story. Mm-hmm. This is it, you know, and okay, giving it meaning. Like, what is the meaning in this, and defining it, and you know, the third thing is like, okay, so what am I going to do with that? Mm-hmm. You know, and you're right. So many people either don't find meaning in it, or life is unfair. This tragedy happened, and they stay there. Mm-hmm. You know, they stay in this grief, depressed, like, I wish it didn't happen. And, you know, of course you wish it didn't happen. You know, if you could go back, you change it. But, you know, you manage to find some sort of meaning in a tragedy. Like, and, okay, what am I going to do with that? Like, you know, I'm going to take this next step, and I'm not going to let this, it's almost, at least to me, sounds like it's most people, like, I'm not going to let this tragedy happen in vain. Like, let's not let it be for nothing. Yeah. You know, let this be a positive catalyst, you know, silver lining, so to speak. So.
For sure.
Awesome, man. Thanks for coming.
No problem, man.
You got any? Do you got your music website, or you want to plug your Twitter, or your Facebook for all the like?
Well, if
4 followers, I think I have.
If you want to hear beats and stuff, just Graham O.D, like on Spotify or whatever.
Okay.
I think I might have 1 or 2 rap songs. But it is not
on Spotify.
It's not the Coach Hayden
that we are definitely looking that up.
It is not the Coach Hayden that you used to. Just know that. Because you know, rap is
so you were okay. All right, one of those guys.
Yeah, but I got plenty of other music, like chill music, like beats and rhymes. Good. Like I've been told it's good, like good study music.
Yeah.
Just put it on the background, go to work. You know, it's just like kind of like lo-fi beats and samples. You know, a lot of soul samples, stuff like that. So yeah, just Graham GrahamO.D on Spotify. If you want to listen to that stuff. But
yeah, man, I love listening to, like, at the gym. I love when it's just the beat music, and like I like when that comes on. So that and reggae for some reason. Yeah, reggae. It just puts a good little vibe in the air. I was talking to somebody about the culture the other day being so much kind of like, you know, like this surfer vibe with jiu-jitsu. Like, I don't know, for some reason, like reggae and chill music and just kind of this, I don't know, different kind of culture. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's why surfing and jiu-jitsu in Brazil kind of all gets together. They went together. But so, well, very cool, man. Thanks for coming in.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, dude, awesome.